You know that moment in a theater when everyone collectively stops breathing? That rare, spine-tightening second when the screen goes black, and you realize you're not just watching a movie, you're inside it. That's Weapons. Zach Cregger's long-awaited follow up to Barbarian has arrived, and it's absolute chaos, in the best possible way. It's wild, hilarious, terrifying, and oddly beautiful. If you thought Barbarian was twisted, Weapons makes it look like a warm-up act. We are living in an incredible time for horror. Every few months, it feels like another filmmaker is redefining what the genre can do. Robert Eggers with The Witch, Ari Aster with Hereditary, Jordan Peele with Get Out, Julia Ducournau with Raw. These are directors who turn fear into fine art. But Zach Cregger, he's the guy proving that horror doesn't have to be dressed up to be brilliant. He's weaponizing the fun of fear. The premise of Weapons is deceptively simple. A small town, an ordinary night, and an extraordinary disappearance. At exactly 20:17 a.m., an entire classroom of kids gets up, leaves their homes, and vanishes into the dark. No struggle, no explanation, just gone. That's all you need to know going in. And funny enough, my screening was at 20:17 in the afternoon. I didn't think much of it until the movie started. Then suddenly, that time felt cursed. So, the real question, if you loved Barbarian, will you love Weapons? Absolutely. This movie takes the exact DNA of what made Barbarian so addictive. The structure, the humor, the shock value, and injects it with steroids. It's bigger, louder, and more unhinged in every way. The story's scale is massive, the cast is stacked. And the horror, well, it's on another level entirely. Julia Garner leads the film with her signature intensity. She's magnetic. Every pause, every stare holds a strange kind of power, the kind that makes you uneasy without a single word being spoken. Josh Brolin makes a welcome return, reminding us why he's one of the best character actors alive. Benedict Wong, always expressive, brings surprising warmth and dark humor to the chaos. Even the younger cast, particularly Carrie Christopher, delivers performances that feel alarmingly mature. There's something eerie about kids acting this good in a movie this unsettling, like they know something we don't. But performances aside, what really defines Weapons is Cregger's style, that unique blend of confidence and madness. Like Barbarian, the film starts out deceptively normal. You think you know where it's going, and then, snap, it switches perspectives. The narrative cracks open like a puzzle box. Around the 40-minute mark, you realize you've been tricked again and you're loving it. It's a roller coaster of tone. A film that's not afraid to reset the board mid-way through. The structure feels inspired by Magnolia, weaving multiple storylines that all somehow orbit the same central mystery. It's chaotic but controlled, constantly throwing you off balance, yet pulling you forward at the same time. It's horror told like a symphony, alternating between terror and absurdity, screams and laughter, and weirdly it works. One of the biggest surprises, Weapons is genuinely funny, not in a cheap campy way but in a sharp, uncomfortable. I can't believe I'm laughing at this way. Cregger has that rare comedic instinct. He knows when tension needs to break, when horror and humor can coexist without diluting each other. It's the same alchemy that made Barbarian such a blast, but here it's even more deliberate. The comedy doesn't undercut the horror, it elevates it. It makes the scary moments scarier, because you never know when to laugh or when to brace yourself. There's one particular sequence, no spoilers, that turns what should have been the film's emotional breaking point into something oddly hilarious. It's risky, but it lands perfectly. This is where Weapons sets itself apart from most modern horror. So many scary movies today get trapped in the seriousness of elevated horror. Trauma, grief, symbolism. All valid but often predictable. Weapons says, what if horror could just be fun again? Not dumb fun like Cocaine Bear or The Monkey, but big, intelligent, terrifying fun. The kind that reminds you why you fell in love with scary movies in the first place. Cregger also nails the technical side. Weapons looks amazing. The cinematography feels rich and tangible. Every shot could be a painting soaked in dread. The sound design, unreal. You can hear the lineage of that low, throbbing distortion from Annihilation, except here it's cranked to 11. Every note of the score feels like it's vibrating through the theater walls. If you get the chance, see it in IMAX. It's the kind of sound mix that makes your heartbeat feel like part of the soundtrack. What's also interesting is how Weapons toys with rhythm. It's fast when it needs to be, but patient when it matters. There's no lazy exposition. Every scene either builds tension or releases it. And yet, the movie does run long, not because it drags, but because it keeps reinventing itself. Just when you think you've reached the final act, the movie opens another door. Some viewers might find that disorienting, but personally, I loved it. It's rare to find a film that refuses to give you a roadmap and just says, "Trust me, you'll get there." Of course, no film is flawless. If Weapons has one weakness, it's emotional distance. The multi-narrative approach leaves little time to deeply explore each character. You get hints of incredible stories. A marriage on the brink, a father clinging to his son, a teacher haunted by guilt, but they're glimpses, not deep dives. That's the trade-off. The pacing is too tight for long character arcs. It's a small price to pay for the energy it maintains, but I can't help thinking a touch more humanity could have turned this from a great movie into a masterpiece. Still, that's nitpicking. Because what Weapons achieves is remarkable. It's the rare horror film that trusts its audience. It doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't explain itself. It invites you to feel your way through it. And when the credits roll, you're left buzzing, laughing, unnerved, and wanting to talk about it immediately. Thematically, Weapons asks one brilliant question: is fear enough? In a world where horror films constantly chase metaphors and messages, Cregger reminds us that fear itself, pure, unfiltered fear, can be meaningful on its own. Sometimes horror doesn't need to symbolize trauma or grief or politics. Sometimes it just needs to make your skin crawl. That's art too. It's almost rebellious in how it embraces classic horror tropes. The knocks on the door, the empty hallway, the flashlight beam catching something you wish it hadn't. These are the building blocks of horror, and Cregger treats them with reverence. He doesn't parody them. He polishes them. It's like watching a magician perform an old trick so well, you start to believe in magic again. By the time Weapons reaches its finale, and I'll stay spoiler-free here, it's clear you're not watching a traditional horror film anymore. You're watching a filmmaker completely in control of chaos. The ending is wild, messy, and perfectly fitting. It doesn't answer every question, but it leaves you satisfied. That rare kind of satisfaction that only comes from surviving something unpredictable. And let's talk about tone. Few films manage to blend genres as effortlessly as this one. 1 minute, you're laughing at an absurd moment. The next, your stomach's in knots. The film constantly shifts from scary to strange to sincerely emotional, like a Coen brothers horror fever dream. And yet, it never feels uneven. The humor and the horror aren't fighting each other. They're dancing together, taking turns leading. Cregger's biggest accomplishment here might be proving that horror doesn't need to choose between being smart or stupid. It can be both. It can be intellectual and ridiculous, terrifying and hilarious, artistic and accessible. Weapons is the proof. It's a full-course meal that never forgets to be fun. Now, a quick shout-out to the little details that make this movie shine. The editing is razor-sharp. The lighting plays tricks on you. Sometimes warm and nostalgic. Sometimes cold and alien. The sound mix makes the theater feel alive. And there's one music cue, I won't spoil it, that hits so hard you can feel the seats shaking. It's one of those rare moments where you realize everyone around you is reacting exactly the same way. You're all in it together. That's the magic of Weapons. It unites an audience through shock, laughter, and disbelief. You're not just watching horror, you're sharing it. You can hear people gasp, whisper, even nervously laugh just to break the tension. And when that final scene hits, the entire room exhales at once. That's when you know a movie's done its job. If I could ask for one thing more, it would be depth. Just a bit more time to breathe with these characters. But honestly, that might have changed the pacing. Weapons works because it never slows down long enough for you to get comfortable. You're constantly off balance, which is exactly where it wants you. At the end of the day, Weapons delivers exactly what horror fans crave. Something new that still feels familiar. It's unpredictable, visceral, and full of personality. Cregger proves he's not a one-hit wonder, he's the real deal. And if this is the direction modern horror is going, sign me up for whatever madness comes next. I walked out of the theater buzzing, partly from the movie, partly from the guy a few seats away who got so scared he started kicking during a jump scare. That's how you know a horror film is doing something right. When grown adults revert to reflexes they can't control, that's cinema magic. So, my verdict. Weapons is a triumph. It's bold, bizarre, and beautifully shot. It's everything I want horror to be: fearless, funny, and unpredictable. Does it have flaws? Sure. But they're the kind of flaws that make it human. The kind of imperfections that give it personality. If you loved Barbarian, you're going to have the time of your life with this one. If you didn't, you might still be surprised by how inventive and unapologetically entertaining it is. It's not just a horror film. It's a reminder of what makes the genre so enduring. Horror doesn't have to be profound to be powerful. Sometimes, it just needs to be alive. Go see Weapons. Form your own opinion. Experience it in a dark theater with strangers. Because that's how it was meant to be seen. With the collective heartbeat of an audience all holding their breath at once. And when you're done, come back and tell me what you thought. I'm dying to know if you caught the same little details I did. If you want more deep dives into the minds behind modern horror, check out my Barbarian breakdown linked on screen. And hey, if you're building something creative of your own, a film portfolio, a business, anything, today's video was sponsored by Squarespace. It's the easiest way to build a stunning online presence, no coding needed. You can design, host, and even monetize your videos right on your site. Just head to Squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use code CARS10 for 10% off your first purchase. Thanks for watching. Stay weird, stay scared, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.